Ladies and gentlemen, the question and answer portion. Let's start with the male category. Let's start with candidate number 6, Christian Paul Flores. How are you feeling, candidate number 6?
A little bit overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. Okay. So, let's call on Sir Kenneth for your question. Pick your question. Let me read it for you. So here's your question. Who is that influential person you would like to meet, past or present, and what would you hope to learn from him or her? Again, who is that influential person you would like to meet, past or present, and what would you hope to learn from him or her?
Thank you so much for your question. I want to meet the person from the past, and that is one of the great Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, who is one of the most good emperors of Rome. I want to say to her what is how he conquered challenges and defeats from the trials that have been encountering. And he's been a wonderful Stoic philosopher, and one thing that I've got to learn from him is to accept things just the way it is. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Candidate number 6. Let's now have candidate number 3, Jomart Bernas. Let's call once again Sir Kenneth. Please speak your question. Here is your question. In this generation, what is the defining problem that finds hard to deal with today and why? Again, in this generation, what is the defining problem that finds hard to deal with today and why?
Thank you for that wonderful question, sir. I believe that the one defining problem here in this generation is technology addiction. For ever since the invention of internet and the advancement of technology, we've been able to we are able to access to a wide variety of information almost instantly. So with this, we are made to believe that all things, everything, our goals, our dreams can be conquered instantly. So that is what I see nowadays, such as social media addiction, video game addiction, and so on and so forth.
So on so forth.
And could you repeat the question, please?
Again, okay. The question is, what is the defining problem in this generation and why is it hard to deal with and why?
And technology addiction has been hard to deal with because
40
we are
40
using
seconds, so wala
technology
dapat lang answer.
every day in our lives. But I do believe that we can alleviate this addiction and prevent this from happening by being wise and having the right education to know what's the right thing to do and the right choice to make. And thank you.
Thank you very much, candidate number 6. Candidate number 3 rather, Jomart Bernas. Let's now have candidate number 7, Justin Alpuerto. May we call on Sir Kenneth again? Here's your question. If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be and why? Again, if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be and why?
Thank you for that wonderful question, sir. If I could give
Your question, if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be and why?
Na-blanco na.
don't be afraid to
Na-blanco
make
na.
mistakes and face challenges. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, candidate number 7. Let's now have candidate number 1, Carlos Zamora. May we once again call Sir Kenneth for the bold questions. Here's your question. What is the hardest part about winning and what is the hardest part about losing? Again, what is the hardest part about winning and what is the hardest part about losing?
Okay, thank you. For me, the hardest part of winning is people will put pressure on you, and the hardest thing to
Losing.
to
And losing.
Again, your question. What is the hardest part about winning and what is the hardest part of losing?
part of winning in this competition is people will put pressure on you, and the hardest part of losing in this competition is people will discriminate you if you didn't answer it correctly. And I thank you.
Thank you so much, candidate number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, the top 4 for the male category. Let's now move on to the female category. Let's start with candidate number 3, Maribel Baltazar. How are you feeling, Maribel?
Little bit nervous because this is my first pageant.
Okay, this is your first pageant, but you seem not nervous at all. May we call on Sir Kenneth for your question? Here's your question. Is social media bringing people together or causing relationship problems? And why? Again, is social media bringing people together or causing relationship problems? And why?
Thank you for that wonderful question, sir. I believe that social media is bringing people together because using social media, we can talk to the person who's not here or not together, that you're not together, and you can talk to those loved ones that is far away, and therefore social media is bringing people together. And I thank you.
Thank you so much, candidate number 3, Maribel Baltazar. Let's move on to candidate number 2, Abril Silawan. How are you feeling, candidate number 2?
Sa'yo na yun.
Overwhelmed. Okay. May we call on Sir Kenneth for your question? Thank you so much. Your question is, Do you consider yourself as a leader or a follower? Why
Guys, listen, listen.
and why not? Again, do you consider yourself as a leader or a follower? Why or why not?
Thank you, sir. As of now, as a student and STI, I still consider myself as a follower because a follower will
Sige, birahan ang microphone.
I still consider myself as a follower because I still need an advice, a guidance for that higher position, which is the leader. And I do believe that the leader starts from still a follower. Thank you.
Thank you very much, candidate number 2. Let's now move on to candidate number 7, Nicole Mamugay. Good evening, candidate number 7.
Good evening, sir.
How are you feeling right now?
A little bit nervous.
A little bit nervous. Okay. Let's call on Sir Kenneth. For your question. Here's your question. How can you maximize your potential to benefit the community? Again, how can you maximize your potential to benefit the community?
Thank you for that wonderful questions of yours, sir. To maximize my potential for the benefit of the community is to
Mental block na.
be kind to others so that others will not judge on you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, candidate number 7. Let's now move on to our last candidate for the female category. Candidate number 1, Ezra Rosalim. Good evening, candidate number 1.
Good evening, sir.
How are you feeling?
Nervous, especially that I'm facing the crowd.
Okay, so facing the crowd made you felt nervous. Okay. Sir Kenneth. Please speak your question. Here's your question. If you could give one piece of advice to pass on to the next generation, what would it be? If you could give one piece of advice to pass on to the next generation, what would it be?
As an STIer, my one piece of advice to the next generation is diligent, flexible, and determined to climb up the ladder of their chosen field. These are the reasons why I don't hesitate to go further. To take the ladder, I trust my capabilities, and I thank you.
Thank you so much, candidate number 1. There you have it, STIers, your top 4 finalists for the Mr. and Miss STI.